Settings. Got the beer ready. No sound to jump my gain up. Is that any better? Can anyone hear me now? No? Okay. Oh, you can hear me now, can you? Let me know if you can hear me. Ah, okay, brilliant. Yeah, it's just for some reason the media was turned off. I don't know. Modern technology, eh? You won't see me changing transistors in one of these things. There. Of course, it's beer o'clock. It's a little bit of a story behind the beer today. I'm a bit worse for wear. Does it sound all okay now? Brilliant. Last night at our local pub, it was they had a band in there. Hi from Brazil. Hi, bad for you, Mendes. Nice to see you. I don't think we've seen you before. Yeah, so basically there was a band on at the local pub last night, and we didn't get back till 1 o'clock this morning. Bit worse for wear. I managed to fall asleep in the chair and wake up at 4 o'clock this morning, so I'm a bit groggy at the moment. But hopefully this will be the cure. Some hobgoblins. So I'm just going to get into that while we're having an initial chat. It's not the beer channel, by the way. It is about radios and electronic stuff. Yeah. Hi, Sam. Yeah, it was a good night actually. Strange name though. It was Fat Man's Gastric Band. Some very strange name, but they were pretty good actually. A lot of 70s, 60s, and 70s stuff. They had a bass guitar and a electric guitar there. I don't know what you call the normal electric guitar, but it did sound really good. Anyway, I've had a fairly busy week this week. Welcome to everybody, if I'm already said that. Fairly busy week. Done a bit of photography earlier in the week. Had a visit from that's Sean. I didn't think you'd be home in time, Sean. Had a visit from Chris this week. Amp with strange noise. Oh no. Yeah, your band's name was you last night, was it? Fat Man's Gastric Band. Yeah, no, it was the guitar. I don't know what sort of electric guitar it was, but it did sound really good. One of them was bass guitar. I'm not sure what the other was. It was a Gilb something, I think. Gilberson or something. It wasn't Gibson, but anyway. So as I say, been a bit busy. I had a customer drop in. Well, not a customer. One of my viewers dropped in and gave me this radio behind me. So we'll have a look at that one in a minute. But I spent a couple days with this. I don't know if that's in the shot or not. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, let's get you down a little bit so you can see this monster. So I've been playing with this. This is my amplifier for my hi-fi setup. It's an Audio Labs 8000S, Audio Lab 8000S. Quite a high-end amp in the day. I bought it brand new back in the 90s, and it was pretty expensive, to be fair. But I don't know, about a week or so ago, the left channel packed up. I was getting nothing at all out the left channel. So I've been without my hi-fi system now. Actually, it's been failed about 4 weeks now, actually, from memory. So I've been without my hi-fi amp. I was hoping that Simon might join us, actually, Simon Spires, because he's a bit of an expert on these. But I've been going through it, basically. Again, hopefully you can see that. Let's get the light over a bit. It's a bit of a monster. It's a very heavy amp. The transformer's huge. Massive, great heat sink, very large output transistors. But I don't know if you can see there, but in the center of the board, it's quite burnt. There's 3 areas it's burnt right by these resistors. Now I've taken these 4 resistors out here in the middle. In the service manual it says they're 3K, but they're actually 2K. But they've done a lot of damage. They've really overheated. And if I show you the back of the board, good afternoon, Cyberflyer. I don't know if you can. Let me just have a quick look, see if you're in shot. Yeah, you can see there in the center of the screen, look, that big burn mark. See if I can zoom you in a bit. So this is looking at the back of the board. And this is the back where those resistors are, and it's actually burnt the board away, and it was all carbonized. I've had to scrape it out and use a wire. Hi Anthony. Ah, you're in LA. Tony. Hello mate. Tony is from the UK, but he's just gone over to the US, so it must be pretty early over there, Tony. But yeah, so it's burnt away the traces. It's a real mess in this area. You can see it's also quite dark up here and down here. Again, that's more resistors, but it's mainly discoloration. I'm going to leave it be. I've tested them and they're measuring okay. But this area has got to be rebuilt a little bit. But that's not the issue. I've pulled the resistors out, and they were in a bit of a state, to be fair. I mean, all the coatings come off of them. If I can show you those on the camera or not. But yeah, that was the resistors that came out. All the outer coatings gone off of them. Right state. But it's a lovely amp, and as I say, I have had it from new, so I want to try and get it going again. But as I say, believe it or not, those resistors were still measuring 2K. So I don't know whether that was the cause, but there's lots of other issues with it. Let me see where I am with the camera. Sorry about this camera work. But in the back here, you see these are the back of the phono connectors, look. And you'll notice a couple there, like this one is in particular, the top is broken away. And what happens is when you push the phono plug in there, instead of this piece staying in position, it pushes it out and it doesn't make very good contact. So I think that we're going to have to, well, I know for a fact that one of these outputs is measuring different than the one on the other channel. So I'm probably going to need to buy a new output pair there, which is quite costly actually. I think in UK money it's about £40 for a matched output pair. You can get them a little bit cheaper from China, but not a lot, about £33 from China. The other thing you'll notice is a lot of these transistors I've marked with white and a red cross, and some I've marked with gold. So basically what I've done, I've gone through the amp just with my multimeter on diode mode and just checked these roughly first. And any that were dodgy. Hi Graham. JB Weld, yeah. I think I'm going to try and see if I can get some more of those, because Audio Labs do repair these still. So I have sent them a message seeing if they can provide me with some more of these connectors. The problem is they're so close together, I don't think I can substitute them for normal ones. As you see, they are really close together. So don't think I'll get a nut in behind to put new ones in individually. I think I've got to get the modular ones. Yeah, that was my thought, Graham, to be honest. I'd rather have the original. These are made by Sankin. There is a seller on eBay selling these. So I don't think I need to bother with the right channel ones, because the right channel was working. But I'm going to need to get the match pair, even though the outer one is okay. The inner one, which is a 2SC2922, has packed up definitely. The other thing, I've got to unsolder all these from the board. This is, assuming this is the driver transistors. I haven't checked any of these, but all the white ones that I've got marks on them all check out suspicious on my diode tester. Now I have actually, if you see, I've unsoldered all of these on the left hand channel, taken them out, put them on my transistor tester, and they work fine. So there's something in the circuit somewhere causing a short between two of the legs on the transistors. I've gone through all the diodes. I've changed 3 diodes up here, but that they weren't gone. Although in circuit they measured strange. I was getting reverse measurement on them as well, which you don't usually get with those. And I've got some more up the top of the board here to change as well, or to pull out and check. But something in there somewhere's gone wrong. I expect what's happened is I've got a dodgy connection on here, and it's blown the output, I would think. But anyway, I need to speak to Mr. Spires about that. He's the man for these. So just thought I'd show you that. That's taken up quite a bit of my time. The board's very hard to work on. It's through hole, so there's a sod to get the solder out of it. But perseverance and a bit of fresh solder does it. So yeah, anyone got any experience with these amps and there's any stock faults on them, let me know if you know. Is that right, Rob? Yeah. Yeah, I say you can definitely see where that board is burnt here. I mean, it's taken all the traces off, so I've got to bridge a load of traces there when I put these I keep calling them transistors, resistors back in. I've also, I mean, I don't know what size, I'm assuming they're just 1/4 watt resistors, so I've ordered 1 watt resistors for here, and I'm gonna stand them up proud of the board, so I shouldn't get that problem in the future. Why they couldn't have done it originally, I don't know. But anyway, that's a bit of an ongoing. I've ordered some transistors and resistors for that one, and they should be here, hopefully, tomorrow. Bad joints on the regulator. Yeah, the regulator looks okay. The regulator is down in here. That looks okay, Rob, on this one. But certainly something's gone up through there. I mean, there was a lot of carbon on there, so carbon can short out the board. So it could be that. It could be a number of things, but I'm not an expert on amplifiers by any means, and I certainly haven't got the gear to test them. I've got no dummy load and no audio analyzer gear, so might be a job for Simon if I can get hold of him. Right, let's just see if I can have a bit of a hair of the dog. This is Sean's idea, hair of the dog. Don't know whether it'll work or not. If I start slurring, let me know. Yeah, I have checked that, Mike. I've checked that with me multimeter, and there's no conductivity anymore. I've scraped it all out. I used a wire, one of these things. Let's just zoom you back out a minute. Zoom you back out. Yes, I've used these to clean the board up. One is fiber, the other one is brass. So I went over it with the brass one to start with to get rid of all the carbon and all the gungy stuff, and then used the fiber one just finally to clean it up with some isopropyl, and that it's cleaned it up okay. It's just such a shame because it's a lovely amp, and say it did cost a lot of money. So anyway, let's get you down a little bit lower then. Let's get me water out of the way. That was my rehydration from the alcohol last night. So like I say, I had a chap come in. I don't know if he's a viewer or whether he just found me through my website, but Chris popped down from, he lives up near Bedford, I believe he said, and he sent me a message saying that he had a Roberts R600 and did I want it. So I've got quite a lot of R600s in various states. I'm always after radios for parts. he said he was coming down to these parts recently, so he said he would pop down next time he was here. Let's get you up a little bit. And this is what he brought me in. Now, for those of you that know the Roberts, this is an earlier set. It's going a little bit closer, not quite that close. There we go. Sorry about the camera work on this. I keep saying I must get myself sorted out properly. But this I'll have to do for the time being, because proper camera gear and computers and that costs a lot of money, which I don't have. So we just have to make do until I can afford to get some decent gear. So anyway, this is the radio that Chris brought me in. It's a Roberts R600. This is one of the earlier sets, because it's got the like mesh grill rather than the striped grill on the later ones. It's got different buttons with smooth sides, like different knobs, and the buttons haven't got the silver tops on them. And the other thing is, some of these, for some reason, I'm not sure, I think it's the earlier ones, haven't got a blue background behind the dial. The very first one of these that I restored, it's just almost like looks like a bit of double-sided tape stuck on it. So I thought someone had had it apart and pulled the blue thing off. So I got a blue one off of a scrap radio and put it in underneath. But since, I've had a few with just this plain like grey background, which is literally just the aluminium underneath with a bit of tape stuck on it. So I don't know what Roberts were thinking there, but I would assume this is one of the earliest ones. One good thing as well. Afternoon, Gary. How are you? The badge is in really good condition, which is a bonus, because these are a salt of paint. And to paint them to look nice, you just can't get this shiny effect. The aerial again is good. But yeah, someone mentioned module. Yeah, Rob, we're on, what is this? This is, today's starting beer is Hobgoblin. Strong, 5.2%, so hopefully that'll get me sorted. But yeah, as Mike is saying, the problem with these is the module. But I was quite surprised, because it came with a battery. Chris turned it on. This world is getting colder. It's a bit harsh in between channels, so you can tell that the transistors need doing.
Over the top, he jumped in there like he was a rugby player out. Well, that's a free kick to Fulham just inside.
This is medium wave. Not much on medium wave over here. Long wave.
Sorted out in a final trade deal. Both the Irish Prime Minister and Northern Irish leaders have been in Brussels, so Tony Connolly has had a busy week. He's the Europe editor of the Irish.
Long wave's working. VHF.
They're interested in outcomes, and the outcome would be that there wouldn't be any customs checks on the Irish border. It would also, and this is often forgotten, it would also mean that there are no barriers to
Quartet, who plays
the future.
One that storms me tonight.
Oh, sorry, headphone wearers, beware. Oops. One other thing, these older sets do go up to 108, which I don't think the R707s, and I'm not sure if the later ones went up this high, but these earlier ones go from 88 right the way up to 108. It's in excellent condition. It's definitely worth restoring totally, this one, giving it a good clean up, get the module out of it. Although it's working, I would never recommend leaving the module untouched in one of these unless it's your own radio. Certainly wouldn't be able to sell it on. Chris even let me have a battery with it. That inside, I mean, these are easy enough to get undone. You just got to undo the 2 screws and the aerial, and the whole lot lifts out the top again. So I'm not going to bother taking this apart today. But, yeah, that's a very nice little radio. So thanks very much to Chris if you are watching. Let's just get that in the right way. Actually, let's have a quick look at the serial number. Yeah, so it's a very early serial number on this one. 6946. So yeah, that's a pretty early set, that one. And for an early set, it's in absolutely great condition. One of the things you need to watch out on these is this grill again. It's the same material as the R707 grill. I don't know if you can see that, but this one is absolutely pristine. Not a single dent in it. There's a little bit of mold on the top, but that will wipe off quite easily. Turntables there. So yeah, that's a fully restorable radio. That will come up lovely, that one. So anyway, that's that one. I think they started making these in 1959, was it? Yeah, it does sound good. Hi, Tam, how are you? It does sound good, Paul. They do sound really nice, that the R600s. Any of these old sets do sound a lot better. They've got a much more mellow tone than some of the more modern stuff, which I find quite harsh. Although that Hacker SP80 last week was a bit of a monster, wasn't it? Lovely radio. Anyway, that's that one. I just thought I'd quickly show you that. I also wanted to quickly touch on some more literature as well. Just in case any of you aren't aware, these books. Now, most people that collect radios, it could be 69 Bill, yeah. Most people that collect radios will recognise these books. They ran. This is the earliest one I got, and this is the latest one I got. So it's basically radio and television servicing. They've got pretty much every model that was available in the UK or imported into the UK between 1940 something, I think. Certainly early 50s, right up to the last. This is the last book, 1987 models. You can see the thickness of the books as they got newer, because there was lots and lots more radios. If we have a look at a couple of these, let's see if I can zoom you in a little bit so you can see the pages a bit better. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can see. You should be able to see this. So basically, it's covers all the old radios. Look, I mean, this one was published. So let's see if we can see the publishing date on it. This is volume 1, pre-1953 models. So this covers a lot of older models. There's a little bit on radio receiver practice. Let's just see if I can find an index. Here we go. So basically just lists the brands. So you see we've got Bush on page 78, radios. So we go to page 78. So it covers the AC31 and the DAC31. Gives you schematic, alignment instructions. I mean, these are literally just full to the brim of schematics for old radios. And this is all Volv stuff. There's no transistor stuff in this one. More Bushlet, DAC1. There's loads of Bush in here actually. They do, Mike, yes. Yes, they do. So if we now go to 1969, look, and 1970, this is more my sort of era of radios. So if we look, radio servicing data, we've got Hacker on page 511. Even dial cord info, look. So let's have a look, see what Hacker models they've got in here. Okay, so yeah, we've got Hacker Democrat RP34, look. What's that? That's the tuner. Tuner still. There's quite a few pages on the Democrat, that. That's loads on it. It's nearly as much as is in the Hacker manual. Dial cord. How the dial cords run around the top dial plate. Hacker Herald. So yeah, these books are worth their weight in gold, really. Let's have a look what else we've got. We must have some Roberts in here. No? Yes, we have. There we go. So we've got the Roberts RIC 1, which was their first radio with an IC in it. So that must have been around about 69. So yeah, that's that one. So certainly they do cover most of the popular sets, definitely. Hi Mark, how are you? So this is the very last model. I thought there was an index. There is an index online in one of the forums. It might be one of the Yahoo groups actually. I think it's either the Roberts one or the Hacker one. They've got complete index to the whole set of these books, and I have got the whole set. I've got a couple doubles as well. So if anyone's after one of these. Hi Jess, how are you? You asked me that last week, Jess. I really haven't got one, and I can't really comment because I have never seen one. But each to their own. I'm sure they sound good to some people. But yeah, just going through this later book then. What have we got? It's all alphabetical. Deca, Vigala. That's television. So it's got TV in here as well, don't forget, because it's radio and television servicing. There's a lot of television stuff in this particular one, actually. Don't worry, I didn't nick it from a library. It's it's all ex-library stock. I picked these up off of eBay. I picked them up off radio rallies. I just used to carry a list around with me on my phone of all the ones I needed, and just ticked them off as I got them, really. And it took me probably about 4 or 5 years to collect a set of these. You can sort of fast track it. I've been restoring radios. How long have I been restoring radios? Probably, certainly was doing it in the last couple of hours. Probably about 10 years, Jess, I would think. Must be about 10 years. Must be. So yeah, this is mainly the newer stuff now, being that we're in 1986, 87. We got things like Sharp, Sony, Toshiba, Philips, Pi, JVC, quite a few of the like Japanese makes coming through right in the back of the book. The 600s. So you got Samsung. Look, I didn't even know Samsung made radios, but apparently they do. That's a radio cassette player. Pi. So a lot of this stuff is not available anywhere else, so these books are well worth picking up. So if you ever look on eBay for search radio and television servicing, you'll find loads of them. Some people are actually selling the complete set, but obviously that's quite expensive. It's more like a sort of pick one up a month sort of thing, really, till you've got the whole lot. I can't remember how many books there are now, but I've got 2.5 rows of a bookcase full of them. So, hey, you've got volume 1, Rob. Have you? That's volume 1 there. I think they did volumes 1 to 4, and then they did some sort of supplementary ones, and then they went through the years then, and they changed publishers throughout the years, but they're all pretty much the same. So I just thought I'd show you that, because it's useful to try and look out for those if you come across them. Okay, what I said in the intro to this, that I've got some radios that I've never tried, that I've bought in and never actually got round to let's just get rid of this out. Never got round to actually turning them on, which seems a bit sacrilege, but when you've got hundreds of radios, it's difficult to prioritize which ones to ever go at next. So I've got 2 radios, one that I've been looking at for a long time, and that's this one here. It's a bit of an unusual beast. Yeah, you can see that. Been looking out for one of these for a long time. It's one of the radios actually isn't on the Radio Museum, so I need to get some pictures of this done and get them uploaded to the Radio Museum, because they got nothing on this. Practical Wireless. They're still going, Rob, aren't they? Hi, Rob, how are you? I didn't see you pop in there. Yes, I did. I got too many Robs in. I'm sure I've got some Practical Wirelesses over here. Let's have a quick look. There you go, Rob. I didn't visit it, Jess, actually. I meant to. That's up in Somerset, isn't it? The Bakelite Museum. But yeah, this is what Rob's talking about. That's a Radcom again, but some Practical Wireless. It's a very good magazine. I think it's still going, isn't it, Rob? Yeah, there's some good stuff in here, and it's not just amateur radio. They talk about shortwave listening, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, Practical Wireless, I don't know if they still do it, but you can always pick up old copies of those. America History's website. Can you stick a link to that, Bill, in there somewhere? I don't know if you can post a link in here or not. I'm sure you can. Yeah, so there is one. You got one left to get then, Rob. You got 86, 87 to get. Anyway, getting back to this one. This looks like a normal Dynatron Nomad, but it isn't a normal Dynatron Nomad. You'll notice that the grille on the back's very different. The knobs look similar, but this is actually a Dynatron Nomad Deluxe. Still plenty on shortwave, Jess. You need to listen probably in the evening when it's dark to get the best reception. Let's see if I can do that in a minute, Bill. American Radio History. Let's have a quick look. We'll get the link out there. Bear with me. Just select that, copy it. I think I can post links. Can I? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hi, Benji. Yeah, this, as I say, if you do a Google for this, there's not a lot on it at all. As I say, it's a Dynatron Nomad Deluxe, and there's a couple things that you'll notice that are not on the normal Dynatron Nomad. One is it's got a signal meter in it, and the other thing, it's got an illuminator, so it's actually got a light on it. Yeah. I think, Mike, this is after the Hacker brothers left. The only info I can find on it, let's have a look, it says it's from 1959. It's the only info I can find. There's nothing on the Radio Museum. The Radio Museum lists the TP11, but this, I believe, is a TP21. Yeah, that's that'll keep people busy, Bill, won't it? I think I have seen that before. So there's a couple issues with this, but overall, it is restorable quite easily. I've never put any power to it, so we might try that in a minute. Shall we power it up? Got it, haven't we? So anyway, just a quick overview then. It's got a strap missing, but luckily, if you do get one of these radios with a strap missing, still buy it, but make sure you've got the end caps. If you haven't got these, you've had it really. At least with that, you can stick a normal belt on it. Have I got a belt here? I've only got a red belt, but this is going to pull a load of stuff down. No. So yeah, something like that would fit in there. Look, obviously you'd want black. So you know you've got yourself a new handle with a belt. So yeah, make sure you've got the end caps if you buy any of these old radios. That goes with the Hackers as well. Make sure you've got the end caps. Do Dynatrons live up to the same quality of Hackers? I think yes, Sean. This era, I mean, I've got some. If you look back through my videos, I did a restoration on a Hacker. A Dynatron Nomad TP11, and I mean the sound. It's only an AM radio, but it's a lovely sound comes out of it. It certainly gives the Hackers a run for their money. They are designed differently electronically. They're different. Very different, because they used a different sort of transistor. Let's have a look inside then. It actually hasn't got the model written on that label there, but it's certainly different than the TP11. I can get one of those if anyone wants to see it, but I've got a video out there of it. So again, it takes two PP9s. I don't know whether they're in series or parallel, I don't know. But it uses some very strange transistors, and this one's even stranger. It's got some like oval shaped transistors in this one. Oh, these are MKT transistors. I thought that was Newmarket, but I might be wrong. MKT. This has got a whacking great big Goodman speaker. So, I mean, look at the size of that speaker. You know, this is going to sound good. What I'll do a minute, I'll just nip and get some. Hi, Paul. You haven't missed much, mate. Just had a quick look at an amp and some other bits and pieces, but you can catch up. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to nip into the other room and grab my TP11 a minute, just so you can see the difference. Bear with me. Okay. Let's just shut that back up again a minute. So this is the Nomad TP10. So you can see, hopefully you can see the difference there. See if that's in shot. Yeah. So hopefully you can see the difference in the dials. Same sort of style knobs. And this one's totally restored inside. The front grills, again, are totally different. The actual physical size of the radio is virtually identical. So I've used the same case. They've got a couple sockets in this one. One is aerial. I think the other one might be headphone. That's aerial. Looks like aerial as well. Strange. But yeah, inside, again, I've restored this one. And this one uses Edison transistors. So I don't know why they changed this one. The boards look fairly similar, to be honest. They're just using a different transistor set. And the speaker is much bigger in this one. So I'd assume it's got a better amplifier stage. This has got a little Celestion 35 ohm speaker in it. I mean, size-wise, I've got the tape measure. So the normal Nomad has got probably a 6x4. That's 8. Looks like 8x5. So the Deluxe has got a massive speaker in it. Let's get that one out of the way for a minute. So yeah, that's a monster. That's the same as is in the Hacker Hunters, I think. Not Hunters, Sovereigns. Yeah, that's a real beauty, that. It's going to sound amazing. As I say, I've got to be really careful powering this up because those transistors, I would doubt very much whether you ever get any of those. So let's just get some leads a minute. If I can find them. I always set myself up for a fall, don't I? Power it up and it won't work. Right, let's see what we've got here. We've got 9 volts on that side. So I'm just making sure that the current limit's just kicking in. Let's fire them up then. Make sure these can't touch as well. Don't want to short anything out. Last thing I want to do is trash the transistors in this. That's that one. I could probably put these in a different way because they're probably wired in series. You never know, they do some weird stuff with the wiring sometimes, Dynatron. Okay. Well, that is showing a short already, I think. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can't fire this one up because it's showing a short. Let's make sure nothing's touching anywhere. No, it's definite short on that, unfortunately. So I suspect, just disconnect it. It's cut in on the current limit in that. And I'm almost certain it will be these horrible Plessy electrolytics. So we tried to fire it up, but it's a no-go for now. I could say that I'll see if I can get it going for next weekend, but I don't know. That could be a lot of work, that, because I don't want to just go in and hobble stuff over it. I want to take these out, take the innards out, restuff them with a new capacitor inside so it looks exactly the same. I certainly don't want to alter the look of it in any way, because it is, like I say, a very rare radio. It's even got the original sort of bungee cord there, look, that held the batteries in. Not sure exactly how that works, but yeah. So I don't know if anyone else has got one of these or anyone has ever seen them, but as I say, a very rare radio. This is the only one I've ever seen for sale on eBay, and naturally I made sure that I bought it. Yeah, I think you're right, Benji. MK, I think it's MKT written on them, but I did stuff a mic, yeah. All the capacitors in the other Nomad. If you look at the video I did on this one, oh, tape's come off. But all of these capacitors I've stuffed. I've even fitted new labels to some of them as well, because the labels had packed up. They'd all gone mushy and the writing started to blur. So I actually scanned some labels in, put them in Photoshop, and printed them out onto label paper and stuck them on the capacitors just for authenticity. But yeah, all of these are replacement capacitors with brand new Nichicons inside them. So well worth doing. But if I put full power on that radio with batteries, I would have probably blown the output transistors on that radio, because it's a dead short. So that's why you do need to power up any new radios you buy in with a power supply, really, not just stick batteries in it and hope for the best. So if I put 2 PP9s in that would take the full current right the way through the outputs, and almost certainly would kill the outputs, if not the driver transistors. So yeah, lovely old radio, very rare. The other difference between this and the other Nomad is this would have had foam in the case. I can feel where the foam has gone hard, and you can see it's sagging as well. So this one will want refoaming. You can see at the top here where it's all gone hard. So yeah, there's a lot of work on this radio to get it right, but it is very rare, so keep an eye out. Yeah, Bill, if you look in my videos, let me see if I can get you a link in a minute. Let's have a look. Let's get my ugly mug off of there. See if I can find the video for you. Let's have another swig of this while I'm trying to find it. Let's go into Video Manager. Nomad. Okay, here we go. That's the one you want. Just bear with me, I'll get you the link to this video. There is a series. If you you search for the series on it, you'll find it. Hi John, how are you? You want to see the rear grille, John? Yeah, no worries. It's unique, isn't it? It's a very unusual rear grille. Totally different to the original Nomad, which has got this type of grille. Again, John, be good if you could print out one of those. I've got another radio coming up here now that needs one of these. So my 3D printer's packed up still can't unblock it. So I think I'm going to need to buy a new head. Hi, the SE. Just sorted a cap across the battery terminals. Yeah, I did have my bench supply there on current limit, the SE or these, so it wouldn't have done any damage to the radio. It's one of the benefits of having a bench supply, really. So there, I thought I'd show you that. It's one that I'm gonna store. It's just going to take a long time. I need to clear my repair backlog first before I can start doing any of my own radios. Okay, and the other radio I wanted to show you is this one. A laxative filament. Yeah, I'll see, John, if I can find one that I can take off and send you up. So as you can see, this radio again has never been out of its wrapper. I've left it in here for safekeeping. Anybody see what it is so far? Any guesses? Any guesses on what this is? That might give you an idea. Any takers for what this is before I unwrap it? It's another rare radio. I don't know why it's rare, because I think they did make quite a few, but there's not many left. You're right, Paul, it is. It's not Roberts, it's a Dynatron. Again, as you can see, it's very similar to the Nomad. I just kept the cling film stuff on it for safekeeping, really. Now it's off, it's going to get dusty, isn't it? There we are. So we know it's a Dynatron. No, it's not a Gypsy. It is a Dynatron, but there's a couple. If you look at the, if I get it up a bit closer to the camera, look at that level cloth on that. That is really nice. I would say probably what, crocodile skin. This is all brass. It's heavily over-engineered. That should give the game away. It's a Dynatron TP10. So this, I believe, was Dynatron's first transistor radio. And it is, you can see it there, it's a Dynatron Nomad. Again, it's in pretty poor shape. It's a shame that one of the buttons is cracked across there. Maybe that's something that John could draw up. He's a lot better than me at using the 3D design software. But yeah, I'm definitely going to need another button for that one. I have got one more of these somewhere, but I can't put my hands on it at the moment. So the original Dynatron, that's a Dynatron then. So let's have a look at the dates on this one. It's TP10. Radio Museum should have that. Have they got it? Yes. No, they haven't. Huh. Well, there you go. Radio Museum hasn't got the TP10. So what do we know about the Nomad TP10? So it's the first of Dynatron's transistor radios and was released in August 1958. So it's a 6 transistor radio. It's got long and medium wave, and it uses 2 PP1 batteries. Wow. 2 6-volt PP1 batteries wired in series. Now PP1, I did have a PP1. Yeah. That is a PP1 battery. And I have got one of those ready to go, but it's quite tight getting the cells in it to make up 6 volts. I need some of those sub Cs, I think it is you call them. I'll probably get 2 banks of those in to give it a decent lifespan. Bill's the battery man. Bill, have you made a PP1 yet? You got a TP10, John, have you? Oh, well, there you go. Perhaps you could have a go at drawing one of those, John. I'd certainly have a pair off of you. But yeah, that's a PP1. Bill, have you done a PP1? Do they still make things in England anymore? Probably not. Apart from beer, they do make beer. They do make beer, Graham. It seems to be curing my hangover. Yeah, I mean, 4 AAs would easily fit in there, wouldn't they? 4 AAs would go in there. But, I don't know if 4 C cells would go in there. No. 4 C cells is just that little bit too big, I think. Oh no, they might. Just a fraction too big, 4 C cells, but certainly 4 sub Cs would go in there. I shall have to have a chat with my battery man about that. The handle is also crocodile skin, but strangely enough it's brown. But it looks original, it just needs restitching down through. It's got a nice, looks like metal rocker switch there. I like to switch between medium and long wave. So, do we... Yeah, that's an ancient battery that I bought that off of somebody. I think I paid quite a lot of money for that, just to take it apart really and duplicate the label properly. There are some label scans out there. I think it's the Signals website that's got a lot of battery scans in it. But yeah, I think these are cool radios. It's really heavy as well. It's real solid wood, this is. Not got a clue how to take it apart. Never had one of these apart. Let's see if we can connect any power up to it. Is your TP10 working, John? Okay. We've got some dodgy looking connectors there. I will have to assume that black is negative. Just quickly double check that. See if they're linked together. Okay. I don't think we're going to have much luck here because that connector's had it. Let's cut that off. Wrong one. Looks like there's been a bit of battery leakage and it's gone up through the wire on this one. Cool. Yeah, we've got a bit of corrosion on these terminals. Again, I'm not sure which one's negative and which one's positive there. The white has got to be positive. It's another radio I'm going to need to take apart, aren't I? Just solder this terminal back on a minute and see if it'll power up. So what did it say on the bottom? It says 2 batteries are required. I think it said on the thing that they're in series. Oh, your TP10's got brass inserts, is it? It could well have tops missing off of it, John. I think you could be right there. It's got a recess all the way around, so I would think probably originally it did have brass brights on the top of it, which is a shame. Right, let's see if I can get this old solder off here. Oh, that's horrible. Chuck a bit of flux on that. That's manky wire, that. Manky terminals. Should have my extractor on for this, really. Naughty. See if we can get that connected. Solder on there. There we go. Right, yes, if they're in series, it would go positive to negative, positive to negative, wouldn't it? So let's connect it back up. Let's make sure we've got 6 volts this time. We were on 9 before. Let's go. Positive. Should we tell from the batteries which is the positive, can't we? Yeah, that's definitely. Right, it's going to be. I haven't got a lot of spare cable here. It's going to be a bit awkward to try and power it up, actually. Here we go. I've got to be careful because I don't want to short anything out here. It's got the metal chassis just by the battery terminals, which just come off again. Getting there. I'm getting there. Slowly, slowly. It's always fun trying to hook stuff up, isn't it? I think what we'll do is we'll prop it sort of like that for a minute. There we go. Right, fire in the hole. That one's okay. Look at that. It actually works.
Yeah, especially indoors. I mean, and also, I was just thinking, why not prune it back a little bit? Not very drastically. An evergreen azalea, maybe take it back 2 or 3 inches. Maybe look at the roots and see if you can shift it up a size or something. Space to sort of grow into, and then you wouldn't get so critical.
Yeah, I know, Paul.
Or the atmospheric conditions weren't so good.
I've got to get myself some sets of leads made up, really.
And now is a good time to do it.
Well, long wave works. And medium wave works.
The thing for me with art is that it's not necessarily going to be about beating the particular.
Well, what do you know? Wow, what do you know? Cool, that volume control was scratchy as hell, but it works. Not bad for a 1959 radio, is it? That's been turned on for the first time in God knows how many years. It's a shame the deluxe didn't work, but that's down to the lovely Plessy capacitors. Let's pop the bottom back on this one now. It looks like it's just a couple screws that hold the chassis in. I haven't got a clue how this comes apart. I think I have somewhere got a manual for one of these. I think I've got an original Dynatron service manual for it. But yeah, really interesting. So I have got one more of these somewhere else in a different colour. I think it might be like John's got a red one. It might be red, my other one. I don't know where it is off the top of my head. But I say this one's been sat on the shelf out there for the best part of a year, I think. All right, let's put that one down out of the way then. I'm backing myself up with radios here again. Let's have a quick look on the chat before we get on to the final radio I've got to look at. Okay, so Sean's asking, let's just go back up, I've missed yeah, I know what you're on about, Sean, with those auto wire strippers. I don't use them personally. I found that they were very unreliable. And these here are absolutely fantastic wire cutters, wire strippers. If you look, I mean, they're CK. Again, they're not cheap. If you look closely at the cutting surface, it's razor sharp. You know, that is like well, it's sharper than scissors, that is. They're really, really sharp. I mean, I've got 2 pairs of these, one for one for the smaller wires. This one, I've got another one for larger wires, but they're CK Ecotronics. Highly recommend those. I say tools wise, if you're doing stuff like this on a regular basis, you do need some good tools. I think John's right. The TP11 Nomad, Sean, would be a good starter. One of these, a lovely sounding radio. I mean, I can put a couple batteries in this one a minute. If I can get it open. I can have a quick listen to this one. I think these batteries are okay. Let's make doubly sure first. I'll set myself up to fail again now. 8.9. 9.8. Okay. .6. Yeah, that one's got power in it, but not really enough. Now, from memory, I don't think the batteries fit under these very well. No, I think I did show that in my video, because the older batteries were smaller. These new ones don't physically fit in the holder, and I'm not about to damage it or alter it in any way, because this is a lovely radio. So hopefully this one works. Say this uses Edison transistors, and this is a Nomad TP11, Sean, so I would certainly recommend getting hold of one of these. I have got a few of these, so you never know.
The 10 plants together, they all keep the humidity around each other. You'll need to water them a lot less. If you put a layer of hydrolacquer, which is expanded pellets at the bottom, maybe like 10 seconds.
So that's long wave.
But I actually find it easier to not have the drainage hole than to have it.
I have to admit, I'm always very wary of planting into a pot without drainage, because I find it just really difficult to gauge.
Medium wave.
Where's me tiger's head? 4 foot from his tail. Oh man, the dustman, he wears the dustman's head. He always got blimey trousers, and he lives in...
My man ain't a dust man. It's a shame I can't demonstrate it with a backup, because you get a much better bass note with the back on it.
This really showed the fight back that many people say, look, this is better than a 3-0, frankly, because
it's actually really sensitive on AM. It's a very good AM radio, this.
It's a great feeling and probably build confidence.
One of the reasons for the good performance is those, look at the length of those ferrite bars, look at the length on that. You've got to love a long ferrite. They are 10-inch ferrite rods, and they've got a separate rod for medium and long wave. Sorry, that's medium, that's long wave. So, you know, if you compare that to, I don't know, I've got another set that I can get the back off quickly. Most radios have got both coils on one ferrite, and they're not as long as that. So this is a lovely, it's got a very good selectivity on it, and it picks up exceptionally well. So again, over-engineered. It's all metal. In fact, I don't think there's only plastic in it. It's the knobs, and I mean, these knobs came up really well. I've put some new brights on them. Or did I polish up the original ones? I think I polished up the original ones on these, but they do come up really well. So Cheers, John. John. John Marty. Sean Dawson on here was trying to get hold of you, John, to say that he had a front grille for a Bush DAC 90. I didn't see you pop in there, John, so apologies if you said hello earlier. Yeah, it's a nice radio, Mike. They come in all sorts of different colours. I've got a red one out there, I think. This is quite an unusual colour. They also did one with, and I've been after one a couple times and I've missed out on them with bids on eBay, with like it's a blue but starry pattern on them. They're really rare, but I'm after one of those. I shouldn't tell you what I'm after, should I really? Because you'll go and you pit me to it. Ooh, stuff's falling down again as usual. So yeah, that's the one to go for, Sean. If you want a Dynatron, an early one to play with. I was explaining to Tony, I'm not sure if Tony's still in here, but he's looking at buying a Dynatron. And the newer ones, there's lots of problems with the paint peeling off the back of the dial faces. So if you're buying a newer Dynatron, I don't know what they did, but they obviously had problems with the paint adhering to the front of them. So John Marty, are you here still? Is John Marty still there? If he is, you need to message or drop me a message and I'll give you Sean's number or Sean's email address. Let's keep that bit of tape with that Dynatron. Right, let's get some of these leads out of the way and we can bring in this beast that's been lurking in the corner here all since we started. You have a look how we're doing for... Yeah, okay. I might need to zoom out for this because it's a big radio, but we'll see. Let's get this in the shot and see what you think about this. Anybody ever seen one of these beasts before then? Got to actually zoom out because it's a bit big for the bench. Yeah, I thought you'd say that. That's a monster radio. If you compare it in size with a Roberts R600, look, you can tell the size of the thing. It's a monster radio. It's probably bigger than the SP80 I brought out last week. It's longer, but it's not as deep as the SP80. There is one of these similar ones to this, but not this particular one, Tony. It's a Nordmende Galaxy Mesa 7000. On eBay, there's a Galaxy Mesa 6600 at the moment. But those of you that watch the channel know that I do like Nordmende as a manufacturer. German radio. I mean, look at it. It's a real beauty. I was really chuffed to pick this up. Again, I did have to pay for it. It wasn't cheap by any means. But it's one of those radios that's been sat in behind out the way so it doesn't get damaged because it is pristine. There's not really a mark on it anywhere. Hi Kenny, how are you? it's certainly. Did you get my message, by the way, Kenny, about that Bush transformer you were after? Because there was one on eBay I sent you a link to, and he does post worldwide, so hopefully you got that. That is a beauty in it. So I've never powered this one up either. Never been powered up. Yeah, I sent you a link on the message you put on my YouTube page, Kenny, with a link to a guy that's selling IFT1. He's actually got IFT2 and IFT3 as well. So if you're quick, you might be able to pick all three up, and they're pretty reasonable as well. So good luck with that. But yeah, those old bushes, unless you've absolutely got to, do not touch the cores in them because they're so fragile. You want to give it the juice. It's a massive radio. Look at the thing. It's heavy to lift even. I mean, it's got God knows how many bands on it. It's got one of these old turret tuners. Clunk through all the bands, look. What else has it got on it? There's no BFO on it, unfortunately, which means you can't really listen to amateur stuff. There's a little tiny crack in the perspex down in this corner. I expect it's been banged on there at some stage, probably in transit, I expect. FM, AM has got like a little, look at that. How about that for an AM tuning dial? What a beauty. So yeah, that's there is a Galaxy Mesa 6600 on eBay at the moment. If anyone wants one, I would suggest you go for it because it's a lovely bit of kit. You can see a little bit more of what they look like here, but volume, let's get that down. So what have we got? FM AFC, and it says AM Schmalbreet. God knows what that means. So it's got long wave, medium wave, short wave. This is the lower shortwave band. I think it's well, 1.5, so it's 160 meters, isn't it, down there? We've got 80 meters through to 13 meters. Let's have a look. So we've got volume, bass and treble. So we've got a battery pattern. Is that power switch? No, that's tape switch. Light. It's got lights in it. We've got a signal strength meter at the top. It's got two aerials. So again, when you're buying something like this, make sure your aerials are good, because where on earth would you buy these? You wouldn't. You wouldn't get replacements for those. So let's have a look around the back. I don't think these come as standard with mains in them. Didn't know you'd get this up. Anyway, I'm not going to take that out. It looks like we have got possibly got a cover missing, because we've got two. Something slides, I'm not sure. There might be a little cover missing from that, so that can easily be made up on the 3D printer. It's set on 220 volts at the moment. I'm not sure if that's 220 and 240. Let's have a look. No, it's 110 or 220. So it's obviously made for the German market. So it says it's a Nordmende type 191. We've got an AM radio, aerial socket there, and an FM. Assume that's FM aerial socket. So we've got a tape socket, a 5-pin DIN, so that might take an input as well. Got an external loudspeaker socket. We've got a 12 to 16 volt DC supply socket as well. I'm not sure whether that's center pin negative or positive though. It might be safer to power it up with Nordmende. Yeah, Rob, they are, to be fair, any of the big old German radios are a nightmare to work. I've got an ITT Schablorenz out there that I've been working on. I think I've sussed it now. I've sorted out the FM on it, fixed that, and I've also done an LED conversion on it, but I've got no AM on it at the moment. So the oscillator transistor is on order from Germany. So I'm not paying like £8 over here for one. So yeah, Nordmende. I've got a couple videos of the older Nordmendes out there that I've repaired, so they're well worth watching. Now, I have got some info on this one from the Radio Museum. They've got quite a lot of info, and they've got the service manual for this one. So it's 1971 to 1973, this one. It's got 21 transistors in it. Cool. Super hat. What else do we know? It's got 4 watts power output, so it's going to be really loud. So yeah, an early 1970s set. Let's see if we can find out from the schematics. There's loads of info on here. Let's see, we got a, it's all in German, that's the thing. Okay. Just trying to see whether it's center pin negative or positive. It's got AF 106s in it, by the looks of it. Hopefully it's got no AF 117s. Oh, AF 125. So yeah, this has got the later transistors in it, which is good news. I'm just trying to see if I could find out what the power socket was. That's alignment. I'd hate to try and align one of these. God. I mean, all I'm looking at here is the Radio Museum site. Look, it's got all the layouts. It's got a load of schematics on it. I can't read the German. That's a trouble. But yeah, there's lots and lots of info, which is good. Again, if you're buying a pretty rare radio, it's always worth making sure you can get the schematics as well before you buy it. I'm not saying don't buy it if you haven't got the schematics, but it does help if there's anything wrong with it. So I think what we'll do, I'm not going to risk reverse polarity in it. I can't find anything there offhand that tells me whether it's positive or negative center. Let's have a quick look at the amplifier stage. 16 volt. Center pin. I'm still not sure. Still not sure. Anyone like to have a guess whether that's center pin positive or negative? So this is the output from the transformer. This is the bridge rectifier. So it's connected into this point. The fuse is on. That's probably center pin positive then, isn't it? Because the fuse I would have thought would be on the positive supply. Alright, any takers for that? I'd rather connect it up, to be fair, with the I've lost me chat now. There we go. I'll get you that link again, Kenny, a minute. You put it on the video to the EBM 60 that I did. The Bush EBM 60. But let me see if I can get you the link for that a minute while I'm here. Want to remember, Kenny, it certainly will help you. I know the seller's called Jenna Stanis. I follow all his stuff because he does have some quite useful bits and pieces. There we go. If you search that, Kenny, Jenna_Stanis, you'll be able to see all of his bits that he's got for sale. I do buy quite a lot from him because he sells a lot of like radio knobs, that sort of thing. And the Bush transformer that you're after, yeah, he has got all three. Look. Let's see if I can share that. I should be able to share it. I'm like an agony ant, aren't I, for the radio community? There you go, Kenny. There's the link to the there's a link to the IFT1. So yeah, John, I thought looking at it that the center pin was positive. So I've got this lead made up here that should fit in there. Yeah. So it says anywhere between 12 and 16 volts. So we go 12 volts. So I can set the current limiter on it then. Oh dear. Right, is that in shot? Can everybody see that? Let's have a look. No, a bit far away, aren't I? Let's angle it up a little bit. And a bit closer. That's a bit better. So let's have a look, see if it is. Okay. Dead as a dodo on battery supply. Unless I'm not doing something. Okay, let's plug it into the variac and wind it up very gently. I'm not sure which way is on and which way is off. Apparently it's passed its PAT test. Let's better have a quick look and see what fuse we got in here. We don't want a 13 amp fuse in here, do we? And yes, we've got a 13 amp fuse. Let's It's very kind of them. Do not want a 13 amp fuse in it. Let's go into fuse central. Stick the 13 amp back in the massive 13 amp fuses that I've got. It's also worth checking that the wires are nicely in there. Yeah. It's been passed. So someone's pat tested this. So again, I've had this radio for quite some time. So I'm going to start it off at 0, and I have got an ammeter on this variac, so it's an isolation transformer as well. So I can wind it up gently. Nope, still not getting anything. Not looking good, is it? Wow, I can't demonstrate that because it ain't working. Let's just power it off and we'll have a look at those fuses in the back a minute. See if we've got continuity there. They look okay. And I've got all my leads all tangled up now. And I won't be taking this one apart today to fault find. I'm not that crazy. She's okay. 45 ohms. 41 ohms. Yeah, I'm really not sure why that isn't working. So quick look, it might be something simple. Nope. It's just a blank compartment for some reason. I should think this one will be a bit of a nightmare to work on. And that's a battery compartment there. That takes 6. Looks like 6 D cells. Should we give it a go with some D cells? I don't know if I got 6. 2, 4. 5. Come on, I must have another one. Ah, there we are. I knew I had 6 somewhere. Okay. Cool. That's tight. Right. Let's see if it works on batteries. No, she's kaput. Dead as a dodo. That's a shame. I will certainly be getting this one going though. Just take the battery out of that again if I can get it open. Come on. Come on. Oh well. I'll get the batteries out of that later on, but yeah. Shame it's not working, but I always buy these things assuming they aren't these days. And to be fair, I prefer them probably not working than working. Yeah, you can still upload pictures, John, even if there's loads of pictures already, because, you know, what can they say? We don't want your pictures. Again, if your pictures show something different than one of the other ones, I'm going to need more beer after that one not working. Ooh, hello. Yeah, I'm with you there, Bill. Bit of a bummer. I'd like to listen to that, really. But it's going to need to come out. The chassis is going to need to come out. I'm going to need to get the back off of it to find out what's going on. Yeah, yeah. I am feeling a bit more alive now, Sean. I must say. This is what we got now. It's a very strange name for a beer, isn't it? What's going on with that? Bishop's Finger. Not sure on Bishop's Finger, but hi Andy, how are you, mate? Just seen you pop in there. Well, it looks nice, doesn't it? But it don't work. I don't know how easy it is to take apart. Strange, as all these screws seem loose, look. Ah, sod it. Let's take the back off it, shall we? Let's have a look inside the beast. Oh, God. That tells me that the front's probably going to come off at the same time. Look at that for a screw. Well, as soon as they're loose, let's take them all off, like I said. Someone's obviously powered this up, found it hadn't worked, and then thought, sod it, let's get rid of it quick. Graham will buy it. Cool. Look at the size of these screws. The whole thing will probably collapse in a big heap now on the floor, won't it? do need to try and get those batteries out before I take it apart. Let's just rest it gently there a minute. God, these batteries don't come out easy, these back flap things. There we go. We don't really want to be taking it apart with the batteries in it. Could short. Okay, that was a back screw in there, is that no? Just got a couple top ones. Could just be something simple like a wire off, couldn't it? I doubt it though. Oh dear, look at that lot in there. You can't really see in here, but gotta be careful because I don't want to damage those RF cans. Should be able to get this power supply wire out of the way if I can open the blooming flap. There we go. There we are. Right. Now what you've got to do is guide me. You need to guide me now. Yeah. A bishop's finger on a Sunday. There could be some innuendos flying about here about bishop's fingers, but you know. It's a monster, Andy, isn't it? It's huge. Look at the inside of that. It's very, very similar to, I did a repair on a Nordmende, was it? I can't remember the name of it now. What a pig that was. In fact, there's a picture of that section on one of my live streams. But yeah, look at these wafer switches in here. 1, 2, 3, it's a bank of 4 wafer switches, all remotely operated. Look with this. Very clever. We've got some sort of like toothed gear. I mean, if anything goes wrong in that, what the hell do you do, eh? Hi Radio Nat, how are you? You're on the Abbott, Sean, very nice. It certainly does have a tweeter. Not a very good one by the looks of it, but it does have a tweeter. But look at this speaker. There's a big old magnet on that one. Like I say, it's 4 watts output, so we've got another fuse down there that doesn't look too healthy. Let's have a look at that one. See if that one's open or not. No, that one's okay. So I'm assuming when we plug in there, plugs in directly to there. Let's plug that in again. Now I've got the back off. Let's see if I've started again. Am I? Why am I working on a radio live? What's the matter with me? Got to be mental. It's quite tarnished, that. Okay, let's see if we've got any voltage here anywhere. Let's find an earth. Have we got an earth somewhere? Give me an earth. Well, these cans should be earth, shouldn't they? Okay, so we've definitely got voltage there. Voltage both sides of that fuse. Transistor down there. I suspect it's probably one of these. I don't know if anyone's worked on these before, but these cylindrical things are electrolytic capacitors, and they're nearly always had it. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 that I can see in there. A couple big electrolytics. That's 1, 2, 3 large electrolytics. Where have we got a rectifier then? So our mains comes in there, comes out. Somewhere in here there's a bridge rectifier. It's probably that back there, is it? Nope. Let's see if we've got any voltage on that big cap there then. Nope. The voltage doesn't appear to be getting past this area. I mean, this is going to be the output transistors. Another transistor in there. Oh, that ain't a 5-minute fix, is it? That is not a 5-minute fix. Very good, Paul. When you open the cover, it springs to life. Yeah, I wish. The wire leading to the plug has got a break in it. Yeah, the on-off switch. The on-off switch is down there. I'm not sure which way is on and which way is off. So let's see if we can find a negative again. Let's go with one of these cans. Yeah, we've got 12 volt at the switch. And we've got 12 volt there. Let's try to switch in the other position. Yeah, the switch is working. Yeah, switch 12 volts across there. There's nothing on this side of the switch, mind you. But it is switching 12 volts out to that rail. I'm not sure what else is connected into that switch. Be time to get the schematic out. So we have got 12 volts switching across when I flick that switch. It's definitely open circuit. I've checked all the fuses there, John. Fuses have all got continuity. So it's not a blown fuse, unfortunately, which it seems. It's literally is totally dead. It's not drawing a speck of current at all. So there's no current flowing through it whatsoever. So I would think possibly one of these caps is open circuit. We carry on, Bill. Right, okay, I'm getting confused. Yeah, you're right, Bill. Let's have another drop of the bishop's finger. Let's have another try of the bishop's finger a minute. Oh, nice tasting finger. So I think the only way to do it is to get the schematic up, isn't it, really? So it could be the bridge rectifier gone, because it looks like the power goes through the bridge rectifier. It's a double banked switch. Schematic is very good, but it's overly complex again, as usual with these. So we've got a Zener diode in there as well, which that could have packed up. We've got a capacitor C621, which is straight across the positive and negative. C621. Let's have a quick look at the layout. What's that? That is okay. Where's C621? Is that one there? That is C621. That is straight across live and neutral. But then if that was open circuit, that wouldn't stop it working, I don't think. Anyway, I think that's enough of that one, don't you? I don't think we're going to get anywhere fast trying to fault find this one for a minute. It's just switching between the mains and battery. I mean, this has got a switch in this socket, Rob. It is a bit gunked up, I must admit, but certainly it's getting from the power socket to the switch on the front, and it's switching across. Looks like the power's going in on the blue wire and out the green, but the other side of the switch, I'm not sure. I can't see off the schematic where that goes to. The bridge rectifier looks like it's up in front of this transistor. So bridge rectifiers on the back of that transistor there, tucked in behind. So I mean, really, to fault find this board is going to have to come out. could be something simple like just a broken wire somewhere, you know. Looks in like mint condition inside. I can't see anything that looks untoward or burnt or anything. So we get a torch in there. Something somewhere is open circuit and stopping the circuit working on the power side. So really it's just a case of working my way through the power supply to find out where it is. So that should be powering those transistors. No, I'm just going to be waffling on for ages trying to sort this out, so I'm going to have to knock that on the head for today, that radio, which is a shame. I'd have liked to have got that working really, but as I said, I don't think that's a quick fix. Nothing in German is a quick fix, I can assure you. It's all, like I say, engineered to hell. They don't like being taken apart either, usually. Yeah. I've tried that, John. I've tried that. Trying to fix it. I can't remember what it was that we tried fixing the other week. Yeah, I think what I'd need to do, John, is I'd need to take it apart a lot further than this and get the boards out and then try and work through the boards with it all connected up. Literally have to take the thing right at the chassis, which I don't really want to get into at the moment, because as soon as I take this apart and start working on it, I've got to leave other things off the bench to make way for this, which when I've got other people's repairs in, it's not really fair to start doing my own stuff. I did used to like work on my own stuff on a Saturday and Sunday. I used to just work on customer stuff in the week, but somebody's definitely had that back off before, and I suspect they've done exactly what I've done, put it back on again quick. I do like a challenge. The last Grundig I did had a similar problem actually, and that was a Grundig, what was it? It's a Concert Boy Luxus 1500, and that had a very same problem. It was totally dead, and that was the cap had gone short circuit and burnt a trace completely off the circuit board. Took me a while to find it, but I did get it done in the end. Of course, with it doing that, it took out various other components as well along the way, so I ended up with a much more complex repair than I ever thought I would have. Anyway, there we have it. The other live stream I did where I did some fault finding, I'm trying to think which radio it was now, John. Let's zoom back out a bit now. I think we've seen enough of that beast. Let's get back up to my ugly mug again. I'm going to sort of wrap it up now, I think. So let's see how the chat's going. Say very often I buy things not working. Yeah, don't worry, John. It will get done. Believe me, it will get done. I really want that radio working. It's a real beauty. Say it looks brand new. There's not a mark on it. It's inside. It looks brand new. I did have a CB radio once that. Let's get a light out of my face. I had a CB radio once that was mint condition in a box, never ever been used and didn't work. Took me a long time to find out what was wrong with it, and all it was one capacitor gone open the circuit and made it totally dead. So it'd been like that from brand new. Radios are us. Yeah. So how are we doing? Does it have a headphone socket or other inputs, outputs? Yeah, it's bound to have headphone sockets in it, isn't it? Let's see, but I can't see any. What was that there? No, that's just shortwave aerials, 12-volt DC, tape aerial connectors. Unusually, it actually hasn't got a headphone socket, which is unusual, isn't it? But yeah, that could be a winter project, that one, couldn't it? But winter's coming. Winter's nearly on us, isn't it? Did I have anything else to look at? I don't think I did. That's pretty much everything I was going to look at today. Yeah, it's not drawing any current at all. Not a dicky bird. There's no hiss from it. There's not even a pop when you turn it on. So it's definitely open circuit somewhere in the power supply. Just a case of working through the schematic and eliminating all the possibilities. I mean, nothing's going straight to ground because there's no short on it. It's got to be either a break in the track, or it could be the bridge rectifier gone open circuit. Because it's even with the DC power in it, it still pushes it through the bridge for some reason. I don't know if anybody can view this. If I do paste it in, let's give you the schematic for the power supply. You might not be able to see this if you're not a member, but you might do. It's worth a try. Yeah, I think once you get a look at the back of the board, it might be a track that's burnt out. Someone might have reverse polarity'd it with that power switch and has burnt a trace off the board. Yes, so I've got a lot more to go through, I don't think. Anybody want to see anything else? Oh, I've got updates on the repairs. The Shorrock, I've managed to get it stuck on. If you remember last week I talked about I used PVA on it and I couldn't get it to stick at all. It just kept lifting off. Well, I've used some glue. Now, Sean gave me an idea of the glue to use. Have I got it here? He had some, I don't think it was Loctite, it was, what's the other big one? Unibond, I think, wasn't it? Something like that. But it was solvent free, and of course you don't really want a glue with solvent in when you're looking at paint and plastic. So I managed to find this in the local superstore. It's Loctite 60-second all-purpose glue. Now the glue that Sean recommended would probably have been better because it's got a much longer setting time. This literally is like super glue. It bonds in about 60 seconds, but it is solvent free. It says it's ideal for large surfaces and including plastic. It's got a couple of plastics it doesn't like, which is PE and polypropylene. But this is Perspex, and it has stuck it solid. That is absolutely bang on. It hasn't affected the paint. I did test it on the case first, on the old dial plate, but that's come up really well. I have polished this, but I've had my fingers all over it. I haven't polished the Shorrock logo yet, but that is good to go. The case itself I've stripped. I've got someone at some stage has broken the case apart and glued it up with, I can only assume this is some sort of contact adhesive. It's still quite hard. So what I've been doing is just digging the glue out of this groove, and I've picked up some wood filler. So I'm going to wood fill that, sand it, try and get some texture in it with a scalpel, and then I'm going to paint it with some gloss black paint to blend it in. It's going to look better than a big break up each side. It's looking a bit powdery at the moment because I've used some foam cleaner on it, and it's basically taken all the, I don't know what you call it, it's cleaned the hell out of it basically. But I have put some preserver back on there, and it brings the colour back, so I don't want to get any sort of cleaning materials in this area till I filled it. So I'm going to fill that, sand it back, then I can get the whole case put back together. I can finish trying to fault find the lack of airband. It doesn't appear to be oscillating on airband. So yeah, another complex radio. As I say, I've got the ITT. Let me go and get that one in a minute. I'll just show you quickly what I've been doing with that. Bear with me. Here we go. Yet another German radio. You've got to love them, haven't you? Can you see down here? There we go. So this one I've had in for a while. I've been sort of picking it up on and off with the Shorrock radio and having a go at it. It's another monster of a radio. German engineering again. But basically, on FM it was warbling. If you tried to tune it, it was oscillating, making a hell of a racket. But what I discovered is the tuning's all done by this variable resistor inside here. So all that needed really was a squirt of deoxit in the back of it, and that cured the warbling FM. I've got the cans off of these three modules. I think one of them's FM and two are AM, but AM is totally dead on it at the moment. So I've taken out the oscillator transistor, which is in here, and that's the one that I've had to order from Germany. That's a BD441, I believe it was. So that should hopefully be here by the end of next week. So I'm hoping that that'll spring the AM back into life. The other thing I say I've done on it, I've done a LED conversion. So I've soldered in a 1K resistor and two LEDs in place of the old incandescent bulbs, which have burnt right out. The only thing is they need to be altered and angled this way because they poke into holes in underneath this dial face. So I'm going to need to modify those a little bit, and they are a bit bright to be fair, so I need to put a couple of different ones in, but I've managed to get it working anyway. And it does work. Let's see if I can power it up. I think it's 9 volts this one. Should be able to power it up. a minute. Hang on, I wonder if my leads are not working properly. Typical, it's not working now, is it? Ah, that's because I pulled a wire off that. Great. Oh well. No, it's not going to work because there's a wire off. That's the trouble when you've got a case hinged on the wires like this. But again, another really complex set from Germany with lots of things to go wrong in it. But yeah, all that's happened there is the wires just lifted off the board there. So we just need to solder that one back in. But I'm not going to do that now. So yeah, that one's nearly there. Hopefully, if that oscillator transistor is what the problem is. Where are we? Right. So yeah, I don't like working on German sets. Foam cleaner. This site can't be reached. Yeah, I mean, I can click on that, John, and it goes straight into it. Error 52. Okay, error 52. So say it could well be the bridge rectifier's gone open circuit. If that's gone open circuit, that would kill it dead, I think. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Rob, but the fuses in it are really very bulky. I can pop one out. Have a look. I don't want to break it because I don't think I've got any of these. So we can pop one of these fuses out and have a put it on the meter direct. So these are 50 milliamp time delay. It looks like they've got a coil of wire running through them, and they were only 50 ohms on my yeah 52 ohms they are. Who was it saying that? Rob Titheridge. So yeah, those fuses are 51 ohms. I mean, a fuse is either open or not, isn't it? And that's my yeah, so I've got about 50 ohms resistance on that. Yeah, it probably is, John. So Paul, an RFT Stern Elite 2001. Yeah, these sets take up so much time trying to fault find because everything's laid out different than our British sets, and they've really gone to town on the RF sections on them. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not a radio engineer by any means, and it baffles the hell out of me, some of the circuits in these things. You've almost got to relearn every radio you work on, because they're all different. These Nordmendes, though, this uses pretty much the same circuitry as that other Nordmende I did, and I can't for the life of me. Globe Traveller, I think it was. TN 6000, I think, and that was a hell of a radio to repair. That was, what a job that was. And I had to restring the thing as well, which was that, the restringing of it nearly broke me. I nearly didn't do any more repairs ever after that one, but I bit the bullet and took on some more. I don't know why I keep taking these German radios in for repair. They just take so long. It takes so long, and they hold up everything, and you can't get easier repairs done. Or if you try and sort of trickle repairs in between. Let's get that light out of my face. Yeah, dial strings. Can you imagine trying to do dial strings on any of these things? What a nightmare that would be. But sometimes it's got to be done, isn't it? I mean, you don't throw a radio away just because the dial string's gone, although there's a couple that I would throw away if the dial string went, I think. Some of them, they go like up, down, around. Those Nordmende things are a bloody nightmare. You got a Bush VHF 81. Did one of them not long ago. I don't know if he did the string on it. I don't know if Andy's still with us. Are you with us? Vintage Electronics Repair still? Bishop's Finger and the Blue Nun, Andy. Very good. Yeah, Andy did repaired a couple VHF 81s recently, Paul. Nice radios, actually. That's a proper old Volv radio, though, isn't it? Is that right, Paul? Bush VHF 81, I'm sure that's a Volv radio, isn't it? So surely a Volv radio is a bit easier to restring than these piddly little transistor radios. It was typical that a wire's popped off of that one, isn't it? Just as I was about to demo my fix on the FM, and the wire's popped off. And it could be any one of two terminals there that it's dropped off of as well, which is great. I think I can see the one it's pulled off of though. Yes. I do have a Dynatron up for grabs. In fact, I've got a couple of Dynatrons up for grabs, Sean, but you'll need to put handles on them. One of the things with those old Dynatrons is very rare you'll get one with that actual handle on it, although I will have the end pieces. Hi, Doug. Yeah, you're about right there, Doug. I seem to be like, I don't know anybody that works on some of this stuff. I wouldn't have a clue to send it to if I needed to repair it. There's a chap that lives he lives about, I suppose about 45 minutes from me, that does a lot of amateur radio repairs. And I was going to take an AOR 3000A up to him on me, but I did manage to find the fault in the end. Again, I've got that on video somewhere, but it was the voltage regulator packed up in it. But yeah, if I get something that's beyond my scope, I can have a look, see if he can look at it for me. But I try and fix everything myself if I can. I've never farmed anything out to anybody yet, so I don't really want to start that. Dial cords are the work of the devil. Yeah, they certainly are. It's really nice to have a direct drive one like the old Roberts R200s and that, where it's just, you know, what you're turning is the tuning gang. You've not got any strings anywhere, but it sticks the tuning thing right in the front of the thing, and people, I suppose, like to fiddle about up top and that, don't they? Yes. So any more questions or anything you want to see next week? I've got plenty more radios that I can show you. You're trying to restring a Hallicrafters, that'd be a nightmare. SD215DE. I really don't know, Paul. I mean, oh, hi Andrew. Just thinking of wrapping up now, but you're welcome to stay for a minute and have a chat. Just been dealing with some of these monster radios. Yeah, send that R800 on, Mike, and we'll have a look at that next week on the live stream, see if we can find out what's wrong with it, why it's not working. I can't remember what you said the chip in it was. I've got some TDA chips in here somewhere. I'm sure it's a TDA something, isn't it? TDA. Yeah, I have got some Valve Sunday. I haven't done the Valve radios I showed before yet. Sure, I don't pull too many out, but I have got a couple other Valve radios here we could fire up. I've got a big old Echo up there. I've got a monster great bush on the floor there that someone gave me for nothing. Found it in their mum's loft when they were clearing it out. It's beat to hell, but it's still complete, I think. I've got another Valve radio under the desk here somewhere. RT7, RT8. Yeah, could look at those. I have done a quick preliminary video on those, didn't I? Just trying to think. I don't think I've got that one. Is it TBA? Micro TDA. Got TDA 1904. $1904, 7750, 8117N. How about that? You won't see many of those about that. Don't know if you can see them or not. You can't really see them, can you? There's TAD. There you can. TAD 100s, that's the chip that they fitted in the very early Roberts RIC 1. But yeah, I don't think I've got one of those chips, Mike. I will have a look. I've got boxes of components here, so I have sort of got a bit of a database of all my components. No. Yeah, RT8's a nice radio, Paul. They are quite scarce, and the other problem they got is the same as the problem with the Dynatrons, in that the paint peels off the back. Yeah, Andrew, I can let you have that, mate. I've got your email somewhere. That's brilliant. Thanks, Andrew, for that. So yeah, the paint peels off. Hi Tim, how are you? Yeah, I've got I've got lots of bins here. You can probably see. I don't know if you can see over here. You can't really, but that's where I store all my bits really. And some of them I've got numbers on, but what I've been doing is I've been buying these type of boxes from Wilco, and I've numbered them all, and everything in there I've got on my computer on a spreadsheet, so if I need a certain transistor or anything like that, I can lay my hands on them pretty quick. I've not catalogued all of my components. Obviously I'm not about to catalogue all my capacitors because I've got hundreds of the things. But most of the components are now in a database. So if I need something specific, I just got to fire it up and look to see where it is. Right. How long to find me a TDA 7231? Don't think I got one of those, Paul, but I will. Let's rise to the challenge. Let's just pop my Google Drive on. Go into electronic components spreadsheet, which is all in numerical. No, I haven't got one of those, Paul. Not got one of those. So yeah, I could have found you one if I had one, but I haven't, so I won't. Thanks, Odom Droning. Yeah, you got me there, Paul. I've got plenty of TDA chips. I mean, I've got bags full of ICs that, you know, I haven't had a chance to sort yet at all. I may have them. What have I got up here? I did have bags and bags of ICs, but I can't put my hands on now. But I've got a couple boxes of miscellaneous stuff. Yeah. TDA, what does that fit then, Paul? Cheers, John. The NVCF, I don't think they've announced a date yet, Sean. It was around about May the 15th last year. 2018. NVCF. Yeah, still saying to be confirmed. Still saying to be confirmed, Paul. Paul, Sean even. If anyone's wondering what we're on about. Yeah, you can send me some of those if you've got a few spare ones, Paul. That'd be great. If anyone's wondering what we're on about, it's the National Vintage Communication Fair up in Stratford. Stratford-on-Avon. Well, it's up in Warwickshire, really. It's up near Leamington Spa, if I remember rightly. I did go up. I don't think Andy made it. Andy, did you make it up to the NVCF this year? If you keep an eye on that website, it's at some stage the date will drop in, but it's going to be May next year. I will definitely be there. I was even thinking of possibly having a stall, but I don't know. I've got enough stuff to have a stall. One thing I did notice, it was lacking in transistor stuff. There's a lot of valves for sale, a lot of valve kit, but not a lot of transistor stuff. And I couldn't find anybody selling transistors, which was strange. You know, I was hoping like someone like Burkitt's, not Burkitt's, yeah, Burkitt's might have been there. But no one's selling transistors, which was a shame because that's what I went there for, apart from buying some radios. Cheers there, John. We'll catch up again soon, I'm sure. Certainly got my fair share of electronics stuff to sort out here. I've got more bits and pieces coming. I've still got to do that record player yet. I've not even opened that yet. I might be asking Andy for some help with that. Well, a few thousand. I've not had a revival in for repair actually. Paul, I've never repaired a revival. I've got a couple of them in there, but not something I've repaired. Yeah. Yeah, I stayed in a B&B this year, Sean, which was literally 10 minutes, if that, from the showground, and it's definitely worth paying to go in early as well, because I think the queue gets quite big if you go in at the later time. I can't remember what time it was I went in there, but 9:30 or something like that, 10 o'clock, and I think it doesn't open officially until 12 or 1 o'clock, does it? I'm not sure now, but it's definitely worth going in early. Right, well, any final comments or questions before I call it a day? Get down and watch a bit then. She might have gone to sleep. It's gone a bit quiet down there. Any final questions then? Any more for any more? Still got one beer left. Cheers, Mike. Again, if anybody's got any ideas, anything they want to see, any particular radios, say I've got a lot of Robertson Hacker here, so if anyone wants to see any of those working or not working, as is the case. I haven't done anything on the signal tracer, Paul. Just haven't had a chance to get on it at all. It's one of them in the back in the project box that will get done at some stage. I did have a look again online, but I can't find a schematic for it. But it doesn't look too difficult to work out, I don't think. I should be able to. Cheers then, Sean. I'm sure we'll catch up in the week at some stage. The round to it pile, yeah. Got masses of those. I've got a huge lot. I was thinking at some stage of doing a live show with my sort of amateur radio gear and my scanners, receivers, all that sort of stuff, because quite a few people are into that, and I haven't fired it up for a while now, so I'm thinking of perhaps doing a live show. I could even go on air with the amateur radio and talk to other stations around the world. That might be quite interesting. The signal tracer, Andy, was this one here, which Paul very kindly let me have. It is, let's unravel it again. It is a Sansei, if you can see that or not. Coming in closer. It's an SE360 Sansei signal tracer. Not a bad bit of kit by the looks of it. It's got a little speaker in it, but it's been got at, unfortunately, and someone's been inside and repurposed all the leads. You know, these leads are the wrong leads for it. You know, the external speaker has now got a car cigarette lighter socket on the end of it. So yeah, it's been got at a little bit. But yeah, if you've got anything on that, Andy, I know you've got a few. No, it wasn't you, Paul. It wasn't you. Someone's been inside it, and I think these switches are not supposed to be there. That should be probe inputs, I believe. And basically, I've got to go in there and take everything out that someone's done and just try and get it back to standard. But the problem is there's not a lot of info on it out there. Cheers, Rob. yeah, by all means, give me a call when you're down this way again. I've still got your Ferranti down here on the floor, and I'm looking for some valves for that at the moment, but they're few and far between and very expensive. Right, well, I'm going to call it a day there. If you've got any ideas, yeah, VP408 adapter, we can look at one of those, Sean. Any ideas, leave it in the comments on the bottom of this video, and I reply to all the comments that I get. So any questions, any ideas that you got, something you want to see, apart from live repairs, John. I get involved in live repairs. You know, we try and fire something up. Any good with Robert's DAB? I've got 3 Robert's DAB radios here. Cheers, Mark. Yeah, I think mine's based on an LM386, Andrew, I think. The one that I built myself. You've seen me use it loads of times on my site, but that's the one I built myself, which is made out of a project box with a little speaker in it, and then we've got protection diodes and that in here, just made up into a little components tube. But that is one of my best fault finding tools I've got. In fact, probably second to the multimeter, that is the best fault finding tool you can get for radios, so well worth building one. If anybody wants the link to the site where I got the plans for this, very simple to make, very few components in it, but worth its weight in gold, really is. That's why I was quite interested to get this one working, and I've got a kit over there that I've still got to build. So I trace a transition from boy to man. Yeah, if you're working on radios, you need a signal tracer. Trust me, you need one of these. And I think, Sean, you built one, didn't you? From you've got a guitar amp, and I found you a schematic to build a probe for it. So you've got to have one, really, because you can do it with an oscilloscope, but it's nice to physically be able to hear the station. Yeah, I've got the Velman here still to make, or Velleman. It's worth picking one of those up if you don't fancy making one yourself. But you know, I've got dozens of the amplifier chips. If anybody wants any, let me know. And these components are just the sort of thing you've got. Anybody would have that in their spares box. I've got all the components to make about God knows how many of these. There's not a lot inside. Rip it apart quickly. I actually made a circuit board for this one from memory. I think it's the only circuit board I've ever made, but I did etch a board for this one. Yeah. I'm cleverer than I thought, aren't I, really? But that's the inside of the signal tracer. So I made this circuit board. I etched that myself. And look, there's very little. The chip in it is an LM386, as Andy said, Andrew. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 capacitors on it. A variable pot with a switch in it. And so I made that board myself. A little socket for the probe. Pretty basic stuff, but the schematics are out there. If anyone wants them, let me know and I'll pop them in the comments section. ELV. Not for valve work, I don't expect it is. Is the Velleman any good then, Paul? The reason I bought it was because it's It's got the injector as well. This is just a signal tracer. It's not, I can't inject a signal with this. Got a screw loose here as well. This is just powered with a 9-volt battery. The only problem is if the oscillator's not running, you ain't got a signal to find because there ain't one there. This is the problem I've got with this one. The oscillator's not running on AM. ELV, Paul. Yeah, I'll have to search that. ELV signal tracer. ELV signal tracer. All right, yeah. I can't find it at the moment, but there it is. It says cable tracker. ELV cable tracker, apparently, Paul. Let's get back on my chat. All right, okay. Cable tracker and signal tracer. So you use a isolating cap, Rob. Do you use like a 0.01, just like a poly cap? I don't know, something like this, I suppose. E2. All right, cheers, Paul. I did show my amp earlier, Andrew. I was hoping Simon might have popped in actually, because my my amp has gone pop. My lovely old Audio Lab Hi-Fi amp. Cheers, Tony. Have a good breakfast, mate. And don't forget to get all your them radios. Cheers, mate. But yeah, this is my lovely old Audio Lab Hi-Fi amplifier, which the left channel has gone down on. The left channel was on this side. Got a big burn hole in the middle here, which resistors packed up. Yeah, those Heathkit signal tracers, I've watched a lot of the Americans using them, Tim. They're really nice, but few and far between over here, and like you say, very expensive. But that's some big old capacitors in there, and look at those monsters. 10,000 microfarads. It looks like they are one for each side by the looks of it. Yeah, lovely old amp, but unfortunately not working, which is a shame because I'm missing my music at the moment. I've got quite a good collection of old LPs. I like to listen to the record player during the day if I'm doing anything downstairs, a bit of cooking. Okay, Paul. Right. I'll Google that a minute then and see if I can find that. We've just been dissing German radios, Tim. Tim Norris. Okay, yeah, that signal tracer's on Amazon by the looks of it. Amazon Germany. Yeah, it's on Amazon Germany by the looks of it. It's got an earbud then. That's unusual. Bit different. I assume it's available to the UK, Paul, isn't it? Samcom. No, they're not modules, Mike. They're actually, that's the output transistors. Oh, God, this weighs a bloody ton, it does. Let's get some of this stuff off the bench and we can get this up a bit closer. Make some wine. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's the output transistors there. I know Simon's a bit of a dab hand with amplifiers, but that's the outputs there. There we go. You can just see them, so they're matched pairs. And one of them is definitely gone. This one here's gone. But the other three are checking out okay. So I have got to order some of those, but it's expensive. Oh, your VHF 40 ones, was it, Andy? Ah, right. Yeah, that's right, Andrew. I found the instructions for it on how to use it, and there's some pictures, but no schematic. So yeah, I've done a lot of work on this beast already, but I've got a lot more to check out yet. And so far, the only thing I've found wrong is burnt board in the center where those resistors were. And the phono sockets are shot. You bought it direct from ELV, did you, Paul? That's quite a neat little bit of kit, actually. But it's nice to make your own test gear, isn't it? I don't know if anyone's into like constructing their own kit here or not. I've sort of dabbled with it in the past, but not in a big way. It's an SE350 signal tracer, have you? What was this one? This is an SE360. Now that might be useful then, Andrew. I'm not sure where have you found that on Radio Museum? This is going to get my attention next week anyway, and hopefully I'll get the preamp section done, and then I'm going to have to look at the final amp and the drivers. Fitted my home built tracer inside. I remember you saying that, Paul. Yeah. The reason I ask is because there's quite a lot of bits and pieces on Cambridge A60 amps. At the moment, Mike, I haven't got an amp, so I can't listen to any of my hi-fi kit. I've got cassette decks, I've got my record player, I've got a tuner down there, which I used to leave on for the dogs during the day. But I can't listen to none of it because I've got no amp, which is a real pain. You don't realise how much you miss it till it's out of action. And unfortunately, I thought this might have been an easy fix, but it's more than that. Yeah, I'll have to look that up then, Andrew. The reason I asked that about people constructing their own stuff is I've got a book over there from the RSGB, and I've always fancied having a go at a couple of projects from it. I'll get that quickly, then I will definitely go. I will leave you all in peace then. Keep doing these book reviews, don't I? But yeah, that's the book I'm on about. I don't know if you can see that or not. RSGB Radio and Electronics Cookbook. And in there's all sorts of projects you can build. I don't know if you can see that, but there's receivers, LED flashers, VariCap. It tells you about VariCap diodes. That's interesting. I must read that actually, because then things do baffle me. Variable capacitor diodes. I mean, look at all the stuff that you can build in there. There's loads of it. Capacitance bridgelet, shortwave receiver, continuity tester, chargers for NiCads. I have built some stuff from this, but there was some test kit. Grid dip oscillator. Circuit for flashing. So there's basic stuff in there. Electronic die. What else we've got here? Dummy load. Transistor tester that you can build. I mean, it's pretty. It goes into it in quite detail. You've got a parts list for all the bits and pieces, and it goes through and explains the operation of it all as well. Continuity tester alert. So yeah, if anyone's into building their own kit, then I would recommend getting that. I mean, this is quite an old book now. I bought it quite a few years ago, but it's still in publication. I'm sure they've updated it. This was 2001 look, so yeah, just another book that I just thought of. I've got to stop thinking of all this stuff, am I? It's taking up everyone's time. Cyrus is nice. That's Mission, isn't it? Cheers, Paul. Catch you soon, mate. I've got to go now. I've got one more bottle of beer to drink, which I will drink downstairs with the missus and the dogs. I'll have to introduce you to the dogs one day. Mental. Couple Labradors. They got to go in next week for the chop, unfortunately. They're in next Wednesday for the ops. Yeah. Right. I'm going to call it a day. Thanks everyone for joining me today. It's been interesting and fun as always. I really do enjoy doing these live streams. In fact, it's probably taken over a little bit from my YouTube videos, but I have got the Sony ICF SW77 video coming out soon. That'll be on Patreon this week, and I shall get it out probably end of the week for normal YouTube viewing. And I've got loads of other videos lined up, so 4 points. You're ahead of me, but then I dread to think how much I had last night. God, dear, I was rough as a badger's ass this morning, as we say down in these parts. Right, well, cheers everybody. Bye for now. As I say, leave anything in the comments if you've got any ideas, anything you want to see. There's always plenty going on here, so I don't think I'm ever going to run out of any material for a live stream. There's always something going on. So cheers for now, and I'll catch you all next Sunday, unless it's any different, but I can't see it. So thanks again, everyone, for joining me. Bye for now.